والهجرة الانتقال من بلد الشرك إلى بلد الإسلام. والهجرة فريضة على هذه الأمة من بلد الشرك إلى بلد الإسلام، وهي باقية إلى أن تقوم الساعة. والدليل قوله تعالى: إن الذين توفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيم كنتم؟ قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض. قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها فأولئك مأواهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا. إلا المستضعفين من الرجال والنساء والولدان لا يستطيعون حيلة ولا يهتدون سبيلا، فأولئك عسى الله أن يعفو عنهم، وكان الله عفوا غفورا.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another video. This will be part 3 of my experience in Yemen. And I want to start with the story of the house, the villa we were, the old abandoned villa that we were living in that had the squat toilet that when we first moved in there, there were huge droplings on the sink, the kitchen sink. And one of the Yemeni sisters came in there with us to scout out the place or check it out before we came in. And I said, "What are those? What's that?" So then she said the name for a rat in Arabic, but I was like, "What's that?" So then she made like her face like her mouth with like her teeth popping out of her mouth, and then bending her 2 fingers back like a rat. And I was like, "Oh no, is that rat droppings? I've never been in close proximity to a rat. Are there any in here?" So we looked around, was none. But apparently they had been in there. So we were there for a while, in the house, and we were told to put boulders over the toilet hole because the rats come in through the toilet. So of course, I'm freaking out because I'm like, "Oh, well, what about if you go to the bathroom and then they come up?" But it doesn't work like that. They come up when they know no one's in the bathroom. So that actually happened one time. Unfortunately, the rat came up, and I was coming out of the room one day and saw a huge black-looking rat run across the hall. And the sister had a kitten too. She had a cat. I said, "Listen, make sure did you see that rat? It's a rat in here. Did you?" I said, "I knew that it was smelly. It must have came out of the toilet because the house had a foul smell. And now this rat is in here, so it must have came in through the toilet." So she had a kitten. I told her, "Listen, keep your kitten in the room because it's it's bigger than your kitten, and it may, attack it or eat it or something. I don't know." So we informed the men once they got back from wherever they were, and they got the Yemeni exterminator to come in and make the food, the poison for the rat. So he said, "You can't just put poison down. You have to stuff it in a tomato. Stuff the tomato with tuna and cheese and the poison. Mix the poison in with it." Excuse me. You have to mix it with the poison, and then they'll eat it and die. And that's exactly what happened. But I remember I wouldn't come out of the room. I was so afraid. Oh, and the lizards. How could I forget the lizards? The lizards. There was a bathroom next to the room I was staying in. It was an outside, like an outhouse. For those Americans who know what an outhouse is, like down south. It was an outhouse next to the room that I slept in. So I went out there one time because, of course, the rat was in the house and I didn't want to go in use the other toilet. So I tried to go in there and it was infested with lizards. You know, those Geico lizards. So, and those lizards used to come in my room. Oh my goodness, subhanAllah. It was just a culture shock. I mean, I think maybe that happens, of course, in the United States. I just don't know where. But I'm sure in rural areas, they have, you know, weird stuff that comes in the house or comes near them. But city people are not used to that type of thing. So that happened. So then another family actually came to Hudaydah, and they were British. And it was a husband and wife and 2 little girls. They were from London. And they stayed with us for about a week until, maybe it wasn't that long. You know what? It probably wasn't that long because, you know, British people, they don't like rough environments. And I don't blame them. They're very posh. So I don't think they stayed with us for a week. I think it may have been 2 days or so, 2 or 3 days. But enough for us to get acquainted with each other and talk. And the men went out and helped her husband find a villa for rent. And mashallah, they had a nice, you know, it was nice, nicer than what we had, of course. They had a carpet and things like that. It was livable. So I'm so happy that sister came because later on, you know, I would go to her house and she taught me how to use spices, and that was a lifesaver. You know, a lot of Americans, we're not accustomed to spices. Well, you know, if you are American, like, you know, if you're African American, or if you're European, or like African Americans were basically reared by Europeans that migrated to the United States, or you know, you get what I mean. Our palate is basically bland. It's European food that we eat, so we don't know anything about spices. That's not normal to cook with, you know, cumin and turmeric and coriander and all that stuff. So that sister, she was British, but she was from the West Indies originally. So she, you know, knew her cultural food, and her husband was Nigerian. So of course the Africans, they cook with spices. So she taught me how to cook in that way, using spices, because I was lost. Me and the sister were surviving off of egg salad, and I was trying to make beans to taste like, you know, what the Sheikh's house had, but I was missing the mark. I didn't know what I was doing. So our meals weren't that good. So I was so happy when that sister helped me and taught me how to, you know, cook different dishes, mashallah, curries and things like that. It was amazing. So that helped me, you know, even till now. It helped me because you can do a lot with meat when it's not a lot. You do a lot with vegetables. Make it bearable. The way we grew up, eating vegetables were very bland, steamed or boiled. And a lot of kids don't like vegetables due to the fact that it's so bland. But when you start to eat other people's cultural foods, they do amazing things with vegetables due to the spices and the herbs that they use. So, and I think some of the parents just didn't know how to cook also, because I mean, you have France, they make vegetables and they use, you know, they make it taste good. It's probably chefs. Okay, I'm now rearing away from. I'm sorry, but anyways, so you know, going to visit the sister once she moved and they got their place. She was teaching me how to make Indian desserts and things like that. She taught me how to make fudge from scratch. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So, anyways, between her house and the Sheikh's house, I was eating well. I used to also ask the Yemeni women to come over and teach me different things that I would have when I came to their houses. They taught me how to make sambusa. They taught me how to make bisbas. I remember, and one sister came to my house and taught me how to make this bread. It's like it's a flaky bread. In Egypt, they call it fatir bread. Kind of reminds you like of a croissant, but it's flat. So she taught me how to make that. But I remember one time I asked the Yemeni sister, how do you make, can you write it down? Of course, with my limited Arabic, my one word statements, broken sentences at the time, and sign language. I asked her to write down the recipe, write it down for me. How do I make it? Because I'm not going to remember that. And I remember being so disappointed because when she wrote it down and I looked at it, I'm like, okay, good. I looked at it and I was like, I realized, okay, I'm not at that stage yet. I can't read written Arabic. Even if it was typed Arabic, I still wouldn't have been able to understand it because I just wasn't at that level of Arabic yet. So that was funny. That was hilarious. I looked at it, I was so excited, and I was like, okay, I don't know what this says. I just threw the paper away. It's literally nothing I could do with this. So, what's next? What happened? Okay, so, we went overseas. My ex-husband didn't have a lot of money. He didn't have a lot of money. I think it was like $2,000, if that. No, it was less than that, I believe. I think it was, yeah. I think he had about $1,000. Hear that? The rooster. I love it. The neighbor has some roosters. They have chickens in there too. I think they eat them. Oh, and she had a date tree. MashaAllah. Look at that. Anyways, what happened? Wait a minute. What was that? Oh, yeah. I think he only had about $1,000. That's what I believe he had in cash. Maybe two. Maybe two. We went to Egypt first, as I mentioned, and then the other family came. They actually met us in Egypt. And that brother, mashallah, he had money. So I was wondering how we were making it to Yemen. But I guess the brother was sponsoring us, because he definitely paid for all of the tickets and everything. I was like, oh, okay. And then I believe that's probably why we all moved together. Yeah. Anyways. There's some dark sides of Yemen as well that I experienced due to who I was with, but this is for encouragement, to give people insights, but just generally, depending on who you're with, your overseas experience, some parts of it can be terrible. It can be terrible. A person can make you miserable, even in the lands of the Muslims. But anyways, I made up my mind that the next time I'm going overseas, you have to have an income. And I went back, of course, and after I came back in 2002, went back overseas in 2007, and I started made sure I started a business before I went to have some type of income generated due to that first experience. But I actually moved from that villa close to the British sister. There was a Yemeni family who was going to Saudi, and they were renting out their little 1-bedroom small villa. There was a sitting room. I wouldn't even say it was a villa. It was like a little small house. I don't know. I can't say it's a villa. But it had a house, a porch, tall walls, and a small little house with a kitchen, a sitting room, a little hallway, a bathroom, and a bedroom. So we moved there. That was much better. Had carpet, you know, cushions and couches and things like that. The floor, the Yemeni majlis. So that was nice. The Yemenis, when they came to visit me, they used to say this, yeah, hada ahsan. Hadi ahsan. Yes, this is better. So that was that was funny also. So once I moved, it was closer to the Sheikh's house as well. And once I moved there, I was going to more gatherings, getting invited to people's homes more, my neighbors. And of course, I was going to the Sheikh house a lot. They became like my second family. And you know, it was good. I was getting a lot of exposure and practicing my vocabulary that I was ardently memorizing in the home every day. So that was good. Got a chance to hear the people speak, ask me questions, and I answer to the best of my ability with what I had. And I remember, the little girls in the neighborhood, they used to come to my house and help me. They were like 9 to 12, between the ages of 9 and 12 years old. But the little kids are so mature. Anyone who's ever been in Yemen and dealt with the children, or even Egypt too, they're mature. They're like little men and women. So they used to come to the house and help me with the kitchen and with the children. And that was just so amazing. I was like, wow, this is awesome, you know? I needed the help. Of course, I was home a lot alone when I was home. So that was a beautiful thing. But I remember one time, I used to love Yemeni food. I can't eat it because, you know, I can't digest it well. You know, so food and has ghee and stuff on it. That's how the Yemenis make the food. It has to have ghee. So I used to love that stuff. And of course, I first had it at the sisters' houses. And the local shop used to sell it. The little restaurant, you can go buy it, a little container. And you eat it with cheese. And you eat it with, like, the crumbly cheese. I think it's feta, maybe feta cheese. Or I don't think it's feta. It's some other kind of cheese that the Yemenis eat. And you eat it with also some eggs, if you want to. And yogurt. So I sent these little girls, I think maybe one of them, I can't remember. But it was about 5 or 6 of them at my house. One of the days they were there just chilling with me. We used to talk, and I used to ask them questions about, you know, how much Quran they memorized, and just asking them basic stuff about their family. A little small talk. And sent one of them to go to the store to get me some food and the yogurt and all that stuff. And she came back with it, and all of the girls started to roll their arms, their sleeves up, and they wanted to go wash their hands and partake. So I'm looking now. Of course, I ordered it. I wanted it for myself, but I learned a very valuable lesson right there. That what we do, well, some of us, not everybody, some of us who grew up just eating in front of people. You buy things for yourself and you eat at someone's house in front of their face and don't offer them. And I know some people have manners and etiquette, and they will offer you. Not everyone is like that, but a lot of the culture is they're not going to offer you. Oh, this for me. Yeah, I mean, they even make funny skits about it, you know. someone getting out of the car, buying themselves a water or a juice, and then don't offer their friend anything. So, unfortunately, I've seen it my whole life. Excuse me. And it's rude. It's rude. It's bad manners, and of course, it's not from Islam. So, I just didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, go to the store. Adults do it in America all the time. Go to the store for me and buy me my soda or buy me this and that. And they don't tell you to get anything for yourself. Nor do they offer you when you bring them back their things. So I was just doing, what I knew. Not saying that anyone who ever came to my house before, even in the States, I have always been generous and, give people food and things like that. But that particular incident, it let me know, don't ever eat anything. I don't care if you think it's small. It's not just reduced to when someone comes to your house and then you feed them and things like that. That's not the case. You all be generous all the time with anyone who's in front of you, because they were partaking and I was hungry and I didn't want to share. But I was like, okay, I'm not going to tell them that they can't have any. So I'm like, SubhanAllah, and they shared the smallest things with me. Anytime I went to the Yemeni's homes, I don't care if it was just bread and cheese. They're like, here, come, some tea and bread. Here, eat with me. Because of the, it's barakah and eating together. So that was a reality check for me, checking me and check myself. Never to do that. That's rude. So, that's what I have for today. My little Yemeni series that I'm doing. We learn manners. We learn manners from the Muslims, overseas. A lot of times people say, it's just that's their culture. Certain things that they do is their culture, but Islam is their culture. We have to get to the point where Islam becomes our culture, not being culturally Western first, and what we know, what we think is right comes first, and then we're Muslim second. So those are things that I learned, and we have to learn. We have to learn things from them. A lot of things from them, just like they can learn some things from us as relates to structure and how we do things. Things we consider as rude that they do, they can also benefit from it. So I will go into all of the other bits in the next video. Let's get ready for an emotional roller coaster ride. No, I'm just joking. But yes, it starts to go downhill, leading up to the deportation and things like that. But please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. I don't know if I can zoom in on this building. I don't think I can. Nope, I can't, but it looks pretty good. It looks like it's going to be really, really nice. Really nice. Okay. Assalamu.